What's up guys, it's Zach here again with Zach and Tara Photography. Hopefully our last video helped you out. It was about general helpful information to help you with wedding days. This time around, this video is going to be focusing more so on dealing with large bridal parties. Over the past year, we had a couple weddings where the bridal party was 20 plus people. And we definitely did some trial and error, learned what worked best, learned what didn't work. And I want to share some information with you guys that might help you when dealing with large bridal parties. When it comes to a party that big or a group that big, it can be a little intimidating because you're controlling the crowd most times as a photographer. You're not just taking pictures. As a wedding photographer, you're playing wedding planner, you're keeping track of time, you're directing people, you're giving information. People are asking you questions throughout the whole day. And of course, the more people you add, the more chaotic it can get sometimes. So for us, when dealing with large bridal parties, our first thing to do, which is a tip that we mentioned last video, is to do some pre-planning with your couple. You can give them helpful information to relate to their group, give them kind of a general idea of when we'll be taking certain photos, where we'll be meeting, where we'll be going, and that way they can just pass this information along so that people are kind of prepped for what we're going to do. Now when you walk in on a wedding day, it's definitely good to just introduce yourself, not to each person individually, but let everybody know your name, let everybody know who you and your partner, in my case it was my wife, who you are, to establish yourselves as a photographer so everybody knows your name, everybody's comfortable with you, you help build a good rapport with the group. Now on a day like this, there's a balance between being assertive and knowing when to take charge, and also being discreet and knowing when to kind of sit back and be a fly on the wall. There's a balance that you kind of find. There's a really good time to take control, give direction, but there's also a good time to just kind of let the moment play out and not be too overbearing. That's a good word for it. I know photographers who are extremes at both ends, and you know, they both can have their good and bad sides. You know, if you're too overbearing, you can make your couple or your clients uncomfortable, and it will show in the photos. If you're too passive, then you won't be able to get the shots that you or your client wants. So there's a balance. There's times to do both. The times to be in charge and give direction is during like bridal portraits or bridal party photos. After the ceremony, when you get the groomsmen and the bridesmaids together and you want to take group photos, there's a good time for you to give direction. Let your bridesmaids and groomsmen know where to stand, how to pose, how to hold the bouquet, telling the guys where to put their hands, whether it be in their pockets or holding their lapel on their jacket. These are great times for you to also just look like an expert, because you are, and let them know what you want them to do and to be confident. Sometimes it's going to be hard, especially when you have alcohol involved. You know, you might have to say things more than one time, but at all times, please just remain calm and keep your cool, and never get frustrated because somebody won't pay attention or listen to you. As frustrating as it can be, and trust me, it can get frustrating, always do your best to remain calm and set the tone, set the temperature of the room. What I mean by set the temperature of the room is that if you remain calm and collected, then so will everybody else. And if anybody ever gets too crazy and it's getting to the point where you can't get photos, instead of addressing that person, maybe just talk to the couple and say, hey guys, I'm trying to get you your photos, but such and such is kind of slowing us down a little bit. Do you think you can maybe talk to them? Most of the time, I don't even have to say that. The bride and groom are good with kind of keeping their friends in check. And I feel like that's more comfortable for them to do anyway, because they have a better relationship with whoever it may be. On the technical side of shooting a large bridal party, you know, be aware of what lenses you may have to use. When you're dealing with a bridal party size that big, you may have to go with a wider lens. Thankfully, I was blessed enough to be able to afford a new lens that we just got. We were able to afford the new 28-70 f2 RF lens. And guys, I rarely take this off my camera, if I do. Maybe the only time I might take it off is to do like detailed photos and you know, different lenses that I might use for special situations. But 95% of the day, this thing is on my camera. And the good thing about it is that it's wide enough for group photos like what we were just talking about, where there's maybe 20 plus people. And if there's ever a time where you need to change it up and get tighter shots, you have that option to go up to 70 as a focal length. So I don't like changing lenses throughout the day, which is the reason I bought that lens, more so for convenience rather than its quality. And it's convenient to be able to switch from tight to wide when you need to switch situations. So just be aware of what lenses you may need for a situation like that. As always, I hope this video helped you guys. Hope this gave you a little bit of insight. If you have any more tips for this certain situation of shooting large bridal parties, please leave your input inside the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. And as always, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.